Hey guys, it's Will. While most people are focused on the surveillance and AI technology that's down here on Earth, this company is focusing on building out surveillance and AI powered satellite analytics that are looking from the bird's eye view. Now, the stock has had some interesting moves. It's BKSY. Since they IPO'd, BlackSky sold down pretty aggressively all the way until April 2022. And then since April of 2022, they've kind of consolidated from left to right, just going from left to right, a little bit of a drop there at one point, but recently pushed up. We entered a small test position. You could see here on the right side, we're up about 48%. So it was back here, beginning of June. We were saying this looks like it could make this move up into this level here. And we entered a position there and caught some of the swing in the 72, well, really about an 80% swing for BlackSky. So there's three things we look at when analyzing a stock and looking for a good deal. The first thing is the market, and the market's going to entail the profits, the revenue, the amount of growth that we're seeing in the actual financials. But then the biggest and best indicator for the market is the actual real world usage. So we want to see firsthand that we can almost see it, we can touch it. Warren Buffett says, if it doesn't change the way I chew gum, I don't invest in it. A good example would be that's like, I was just going through the airport and we were looking at the different technologies, and this other AI company, Big Bear AI, has facial scanners. And I was looking for that real world usage. When I was walking through, they say, please hold still, sir, while it scans or whatever. I'm like, and I was chewing gum at the time, and I thought, hey, this is perfect Warren Buffett analogy. If it changes the way you chew gum, which in this case it did, it's probably a good investment, right? The things you see firsthand, like Coca-Cola, you take out your gum to drink or what have you. Maybe it's not specifically gum, but you get the point. So with BKSY, there is some developments. This is a company that works very closely with some of the best space tech companies. So they have this Gen 3 satellites that can gain foresight into changing national security and economic conditions, whether it's the ports, the oceans, seeing the entries, the exits, or it's the airports and the planes that are leaving and going, or even thermal imaging. They also use AI analytics specifically, and they have these extremely high definition pictures, or not even pictures, videos of different very important locations in the US. And then on top of that, they have really done some work on the financial side. They're about $600 million market cap. And this is getting into our analysis stage, which in the analysis stage, that second stage, we go through the financials, the news, and the chart. So from the news perspective, and we'll actually let's stay on the news for a second. You see these this technology, this product. Some of the contracts they've had have been with like the U.S. Department of Defense or with the governments, not just U.S. governments, but other governments in the world. And just in 2025, there's been a lot of international demand here. They have some third-party articles, so don't really want to go there. Actually want to go directly to their wherever their news is, but the actual investor relations side of things is their press releases. That's where you want to go normally, press releases. It's great they have those articles there, but not always are they accurate. So they just won on the 24th, so 5 days ago, a $24 million contract here with Luno. So this is a geospatial intelligence agency, and they received an initial base and surge option award of $2 million with potential here. This is actually a $24 million 4-year contract. And why? Well, BlackSky monitors over 30 million square kilometers of the Earth's surface, and they're focusing on space-based intelligence systems that use AI and are able to look at different economic things. Could be vehicle, aircraft. They don't say humans, but I think they're so HD they could probably see humans very well. And they have more contracts rolling in. So from a news perspective, we see more contracts even in the millions of dollars. There is a more than $100 million contract in January they secured here for space-based monitor. It's a defense sector contract. So we see them rolling in. There's another selected for $200 million Luno B IDIQ. So commercial data. These are not small. Then we look, so we move from there, we get into the financials, and we'll take a look at the chart and get to the step 3, which is the profit potential or the margin for risk and things. But when we look at the BlackSky technology, or on the close look from the financials, annually, we're seeing their revenue grow consistently. If they signed some $100 million contracts in 2025 that we just saw, and a $24 million contract that's not even shown up on the recent earnings because it was so new, and in total revenue they had annually in 2024 an all-time high of 100 million. They're already, just on the contracts we just went over from a news perspective, going to surpass more than $100 million in revenue in this year of 2025, excuse me. So quarterly, you see the revenues increasing, and then the net income kind of holding steady around that 9 to 15 million negative on average. And revenue's up 21% year over year. Net income is up 18% year over year. So what does that mean? Profit margins are up 33%. So they're becoming better. Here's the other thing. The balance sheet, they've kept their total assets well above their total liabilities. So basically, more things that are going to make them money, that are business infrastructure or cash money that they have that is positive, versus liabilities, which even in some cases, not always, but sometimes liabilities are like the property that they have, or their development space, or some of the materials they have that they're putting money into, where those things could still potentially have some value that they could still make money. Like a really good example was Rocket Lab, when they had a lot of liabilities, but people were like, well, a lot of those manufacturing things they have, they could actually sell. So they put money into like the infrastructure of their shop, or the the factory or whatever, and it looks like a liability, but I don't know, it's not always as bad as it seems. They do have kind of high liabilities, but their total assets are growing, it seems, for the most part, definitely quarter over quarter. So that brings us to the C. So we went through the news A, the financials B, and now we're going through the chart in C. The chart is a little less certain as it's consolidated from left to right. There is this next level here at $25 a share that, if it continues this very bullish trend that it's had, we could see that move 25%, 27%. But just take a look down here at some of the indicators. RSI is way overbought. MACD is very overbought at the moment. So seeing a pull down would be totally expected. We did see some rejection take place on Friday, where it pulled down to this previous resistance. Previous resistance oftentimes will act as a support. So it's possible that it validates this previous resistance here that we've seen it get rejected, and is able to continue back up into these highs up around $25 a share. But it's not something that has confirmation yet. We see it sell down to this previous resistance. If it dips, let's say at market open tomorrow on Monday, then we'll be watching for an opportunity potentially for it to drop below. And in that case, we got to watch closely, as that's a key resistance level that it can continue down. But if we see validation on this previous resistance on Monday on a short-term trade, then we would look for trading it most likely if an opportunity presents itself. And when it comes to the margins for profit we would look for in that instance, we'd be looking for this recovery right here, which is about a 10% recovery. So just a short little swing, about 10%. So then after that, if we see it continue in a swing trade, or even I do have some long-term positions, as I mentioned, we're up about 48%, but we'll be looking for a swing about a 33% swing as well, up into this $25 range. Now that's if this resistance holds. That's what we'll be watching to verify into this next week. Now, when it comes to the profit margins, it is there. If it breaks there, then a short-term trade would not be something we'd want to turn into a long-term, most likely, as we could see that if it broke this resistance, there is that downside potential. So we would want to manage risk and keep it kind of tight and be looking for that, 10 to 35% potential for profit, while managing risk somewhere probably around this zone here of about -5% or -3% potential on the risk management. So if we're going for that 30% mark of profit. So if you guys wanted to see if any opportunities present themselves, we have our daily live trading. If you ever want to watch me trade live, see my entries, my exits, but most importantly, surround yourself with like-minded individuals that are investing in the stock market, in assets, in AI, in quantum. There's also this free book that you grab. I wrote it before ChatGPT existed, and it goes over like ordinary versus profitable. It goes over your mindsets, the 95% versus the 5%. And one of the things is like just learning how to learn. How do you learn? Like how to learn to invest, trading plans, as well as emotional IQ and all that. And you get our group here. So we got our earnings coming up for this week. We always release targets along with the different companies and when they are reporting earnings. So that will be dropping later today as it's Sunday. And if you want to join us, it's a little early, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but we're there every morning, Monday through Friday at market open, and would love to see you there. It's the second link in the description, and you get a free t-shirt for joining lifetime access. So I would encourage you to take a look. We got a huge sale. It's not getting better than this. Second link down below. Thanks so much for watching. If I earned your thumbs up, guys, hit the like button. If you have any thoughts on BlackSky, drop them below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.